Hi.
It's on?
Yep.
It's going to be a different episode today.
It is going to be a different
I
episode.
see you. You're like trying to be all excited
I
and stay
know.
on that mood, but twice you've said you even want to record it today for
Yep.
my benefit.
Yep.
And I said this episode's about perseverance. I don't want to record this episode.
I know you don't.
But when you commit to something,
Yep.
you sometimes have to do stuff you don't want to do.
Yep.
Like record a goddamn podcast episode when you're not in the mood because your clients have been all week and it's Friday
Yeah.
and you don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So it'll be a short one. Thank you for joining.
If
Can
you
we
like
actually
what you
stop?
hear usually.
No.
If you-
Don't do the normal stuff.
If you usually like what you hear.
This is a real podcast.
Yep.
So you can't like pretend like it's all
No, I'm telling them
hunky-dory all
that
the
like
time.
we're showing up because we still have a podcast. So if you usually like what you hear, maybe today's not a good.
I think today is going to be one of our best episodes.
Maybe.
Because it's not fake.
It's not. And we've never been fake.
Well, sometimes.
Nope.
I have.
I haven't.
So many times.
Never.
I always pretend.
I don't know how to pretend.
What do you mean? What about that time you said, oh, pretend you like this video?
When did I do that?
You're like, no, let's shoot this again because you weren't funny. I tried today.
What?
I offered to redo a video
Yeah.
because you didn't like the way it went.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm not redoing it.
Oh. But
Well, you said no. I offered, and then you said no, and I was grateful because I was scared you'd say yes, and then I'd have to like say no, I don't want to do that again.
Why would you offer if you don't want to do
Because
it?
sometimes the other person feels better. You make an offer, it's a gamble. You make an offer, and you're like, please don't take it, please don't take it. Almost every time
if you make an offer and you thinking, please don't take it, and the person takes it, then you change your mind. You're like, no, I changed my mind.
I do it.
You would have done it.
Yeah.
But you just said I wouldn't have done it.
It wouldn't have done well, but I would have done it.
Okay, I want to do it again.
No, now it's too late. You already said no.
Offered.
Almost 90% of the time I offer to go for dinner with people, I'm saying, please don't take it. Please be busy. Please be busy.
God, you're such a hermit.
Everyone listening to this feels that way.
I don't.
They're like, hey, let's go for dinner. It'll be awesome. And then you're like, yeah, oh God, now it's the day has come. We have to go for dinner.
That's rude.
You actually don't feel that way?
I like going to
when
dinner
you
with
say
my
to people,
friends.
let's go for dinner, you're like looking forward to that day.
Yes. I like going to dinner
I
with my
like
friends.
being at the dinner.
Yeah.
I don't like going there. I don't like coming home. I don't know. I'm just telling you like it is.
That's ridiculous.
You don't feel that sometimes?
That I don't feel like going?
Yeah, you're like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, I have felt like I don't want to go, and then
But I
once
like
I'm there,
it when I'm there.
Yeah.
I don't want to get dressed up.
Okay.
But I like being dressed up.
I like getting dressed up.
I don't like the process. But I like the thing.
You are a complicated fellow.
Everyone's complicated.
Yes.
That's the point of this episode.
Yes.
Things are complicated.
Yeah.
You gave me the out to not do an episode.
Yep.
But that's not helpful for me.
Well.
I didn't want an out. You didn't give me an out. You said you don't look like you want to do this.
Yeah.
And
I was just stating a fact.
yeah, but I could make that determination. You know what I mean? Like, it's not helpful. It's like saying you clearly need time for yourself.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to
not
make
a
that
jab.
decision.
Like the person on the other end, you in this instance, like I'm not taking a jab at you. I'm making an observation that sometimes when I'm in my head, like I don't realize that I need to take a step back. It doesn't occur to me because I'm so deeply invested in whatever the stuff is that's clouding me. And it was just literally an observation, and it was offering you an out. Like this is not a high priority right now. And while we love recording our podcast episodes and we love putting out content, at the end of the day, we have to take care of family and our feelings and our emotions first.
Does that ever feel that way when I tell you, like, you need time for yourself?
Yeah.
It feels good?
It gives
or does
me,
it feel more like kind of
do you need to
judgy?
tap out? When you're in a relationship, as we've been for so long, like I would hope that there's no judgment there.
So that's why we're talking about this. People are always like, couple goals, you're so happy all the time. It's like, no, we're not. We work really hard to be happy.
Yep.
But there are situations when we're not. Mm-hmm. And it's important to share that as well if you're going to be honest with the process.
Yeah.
It's not all golden bananas and broken vases.
Yeah.
So I have had a rough week. You have felt like I've taken that out on you.
Yeah.
Unbeknownst to me, because that wasn't the intention for you to feel that way.
It never is. Like, you never intend to.
Well, you do sometimes.
No,
when
I
we're
don't.
fighting, there's some words. Remember that time you starved me?
Oh my God.
You remember?
I did not starve you.
You did. How many nights
You're a grown
in our
man.
lives? I know, and I've been through most of our relationship. But how many nights have you been like, I know you're thinking food.
I think I
I'm
need
not
to
doing
do that more.
But you've only done it once.
But I'm not your. I'm
but
not
was
your
that
keeper.
intentional?
No,
that
I'm not
day?
your like food keeper.
Was it intentional that day?
No, it
to
was
do a little
not.
more harm than usual?
Absolutely not. It was. I was so frustrated that I did not want to be doing anything.
You said, I'm not even going to digest today.
I didn't
So go
eat
screw
either.
yourself. Yeah, that's what you were thinking.
I didn't say that. And
No,
I
you
was
were like-
not thinking that. I don't even remember what I was thinking. But I know that it wasn't, I'm going to starve this man to show him a lesson.
That's really what it was.
No, it wasn't.
And I was so
And
hungry, I ordered
also-
2 pizzas. One for me, one's for you, because I knew you'd be hungry later.
I think as you tell this story, you
Yeah.
order more and more and more food.
No, it's just 2 pizzas.
Okay.
One for me, one for you.
I don't eat my own pizza. I've never eaten my own pizza.
But
Actually, I did once.
when you don't eat all night and you're spewing in your own anger, then you eat a pizza.
That's not
When
true.
I woke up, I saw you sitting on the counter eating pizza.
That's not true.
4 a.m. like a rat. You didn't want to eat my pizza,
That's not true.
but you ate it.
Listen, I've only eaten a whole pizza once in my life, and that's when I was pregnant with Jay. And I've never, ever ordered myself an entire pizza. So if you did that,
I just got extra because I
Okay.
figured I could eat it the next day.
probably. That's probably what more appropriate.
It's been a long time. You've only done it once. So I don't have much
I'm
experience.
gonna say this for everyone to hear.
I
I am
starved him
not
once.
responsible. Like, I am not responsible for making sure that you eat.
How many
It
nights
doesn't matter.
in our relationship
It does
where we've
not
both been
matter.
together with no conversation have you decided to exit stage left at 7 p.m.? How many times?
It doesn't matter.
More than once?
It does
Okay,
not matter.
I understand.
No, you don't understand because you keep telling me that I starved.
That wasn't, you know how sometimes you can be angry
Yeah.
and then sometimes it can go so beyond anger that it like resets the clock? That was it for me. I wasn't angry, I was in shock. I was like, would I have eaten something? Like the point past starvation is poison. So I was like, I guess I'm happy this way, because if she was smiling and being, oh, here, have the soup. You want the soup? I would have probably dropped the soup for fear of something bad
I
happening.
would never poison you.
You would also never starve me before that night. You've done it
It's
once.
not
It's
My
okay.
responsibility.
I got
to
you a
feed
pizza.
You
I got
are
me a
grown
pizza, I got you a
man.
pizza. Have I ever starved you on purpose?
Yes.
When?
You never feed me.
But I've never put you in a position where you were expecting to be fed by me and then there was no food.
I do not expect to be fed by you ever.
Hence, I've never starved you. Thank you. You're agreeing.
No, I do not agree.
Yeah, I've never left
I
you
do-
hanging. You left me hanging that day.
From now on,
No,
I
we're
do
never
not
eating.
want to be held responsible for having to feed anybody in this house.
Well, I know. I have to feed me and my son for lunches.
I don't
Not
think
our daughter. She's fine.
she's
but-
fine because she feeds
And
herself.
that wasn't a mistake. It is my son, because you told me your son that you carried in your womb.
He-
I rented your womb to develop my son. Thank you for that. I forgot about that contract we had.
For anyone listening,
Fine womb rental service she offers if anyone's looking.
This week, my son also came at me for not
Came at you.
for not giving him the appropriate meal that he required or requested. He was very upset, and when I did not heat up the correct food, he continued to like yell and throw a little tantrum. So I told him, "That's it. I'm not feeding you anymore. I'm not responsible for your food."
Can you say it the way
No,
you said
I'm
it?
not gonna say it. The
Why are
way
you saying
that-
it so nicely now?
I
like
told him, "You are here henceforth
because
responsible."
I brought you to this world and I'll take you out, mother. Then you're like, wait, I can't call you that. That's really weird.
I did not say that. I was not thrilled with the way that he was talking to me.
Yeah.
And we have a very comfortable relationship in our home. Like the kids, we're not the family that's, oh, you have to talk to me with respect. No, it's not that. But he was being very just kind of like dismissive. And it was 6:30 in the morning and I had gotten up and I had made his lunch and her lunch, his breakfast and her breakfast. And he said, I'm not going to eat this, or fine, I'll eat it and I'll just take mine also that I wanted, or whatever. He was just being rude.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it. And I told him, I don't think you understand that I get up every morning to take care of you. And if you're not thrilled with the way that I'm doing it, that's fine. You can take care of yourself. You can be responsible for your meals.
For how long?
Forever.
Forever, yes. You left that part out. A little bit.
I think it's going to be for this week.
This week, yeah.
But
it feels like forever.
It felt like forever.
Yeah.
Every single morning I've gotten up and I wanted to go help the child, and just to show him that like I have value.
So what happened finally?
Nothing.
Did they make their own food this week?
She didn't. He did.
He did.
Yeah.
Oh, you made for her?
Yeah.
And he made his own beside you?
Yeah.
Awkward.
It was a
You had
little
to
awkward.
share the same kitchen? He's like, can I borrow your knife so I can make the exact same thing you're making for myself? Was it like that?
No. Honestly, we've been fine.
Yeah.
And he just knew that was his responsibility.
Yeah.
And at times he said, hey, can you help me with this? And I said, sure.
Okay.
Or he said, can you cut this for me while you're also cutting it for Zara? And
like
I said,
you're
sure.
cutting the exact same thing. Can you cut it for me? Okay.
But again,
I think you should stick with this till the
not
end.
Because I think that I don't want to take care of him. It's that I think it's important for him to learn this responsibility and this independence. And two, when somebody's helping you, you have to appreciate the fact that person's helping you and not dismiss them.
I think you should stick to it. Don't quit this week. Stick to it till the end.
Like of the school year?
No, of his life. As you threatened.
Okay, I know that was a big threat.
Yeah.
I know that I'm all bark and no bite.
No, you're clearly biting. You're biting the cheese in front of his face in the kitchen every morning.
I tried to carry out the week. Listen, it's not easy being a parent. Anyway, moving on.
On that tangent.
Where were we before that?
I don't know, somewhere depressing. This is my cycle.
I was telling you that
I'm getting my period.
I think you are.
I know. I always feel like this when I'm getting my period.
I have a theory.
I've learned so many things. I feel bloated, been eating chocolate and chips.
You're laughing.
You
you're
disgust
joking
me.
about
You read your books. You come touch me at night. I'm like, get the F out of here. Go on your own side.
I have a theory.
My nipples are feeling weird. Or is that just with pregnancy? I forget about that
No,
one. I'm
also.
pregnant? No, I'm not pregnant. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm getting my quarterly period.
This is my theory. I've told you. I don't know if I've said it on the podcast before.
Probably
but
not.
I have a theory.
I'm pretty sure this is the first time we're discussing my menstruation.
And I don't think that that's unreasonable. Like, we have cycles and our bodies go through cycles. And why can't yours also go through the same cycle?
Well, why don't you give me the same level of treatment that I give you when you're going through that?
I did.
No.
I really
You said go
did.
sit in your own room.
I did not.
You're like, I'm not dealing with you. I'm watching the show we were watching together on my own.
No,
You do all these things that
true.
if I did, I would wake up with a horse's head in my bed.
what?
Yeah. You're supposed to do what I do when you're in that mood.
Which is?
Pet you. Bring a blanket. Like, ask you if you want more gummy bears or cheese. Yeah, I hug you. I squeeze you extra tight.
False.
I say, Daddy loves you. Like, I just pretend you're a third child.
False.
Like the youngest
Yeah.
of the three.
False.
No, all the time.
No,
I bring you
not
water
true.
sacks for your stomach.
Yeah?
Yeah?
We don't even have a water sack.
I don't know what that is. What is a water sack?
It's a sack that you fill with hot water.
But anyways,
Yeah. So you're getting your period.
I think when does it pass?
Like a couple days.
I think a weekend is good. For men it passes on Fridays.
Okay.
It's not the same. It's a calendar based.
Okay.
And the work's done and it's Friday and it's the weekend.
Yeah.
And you can play pickleball later or in the morning. You
Yeah.
can go to the gym. It passes.
Okay.
So just be more compassionate when I have my period.
Honestly, I have been.
You didn't rub my back.
No.
That's
because
a golden ticket.
You went to the other side.
I live on the other side because there's 7 blankets on your side. We've discussed this. I sleep in a sleeping bag.
Yeah.
I flip over the bed and I just stay there.
Yeah.
And you can choose to come to my outpost
Yeah.
where I sleep, or you could stay in the fancy bed part with all the blankets.
Mm-hmm.
And you stayed in the fancy bed part because you're annoying me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go hang out with you.
Yeah.
I know the feeling. When you annoy me, I don't want to go to your quarters either. But when you have your period and you annoy me,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I'm dealing with someone that's less capable.
Oh.
So I'm like, I will be gentle.
Oh.
I will be kind.
Okay.
So when I'm having my period,
When's the
you have to
last
do the
time
same
you
thing.
did this for me?
Let me check my this episode's sponsored by menstrualcalendar.com. I don't know. You don't tell me. I've asked for so many years for guidance.
Yeah.
We tried for a while with some app, but then you went to Dr. Ginny and everything got all changed up again.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but I would like to know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like less separation when I'm feeling annoyed,
Yeah.
but I want no talking.
Mm-hmm.
Like just boochies.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a wrap?
Yep.
You can just give me boochies later and we'll be all good?
Sure.
Because I think that will work.
I don't think so.
Oh, for sure.
No.
Oh, you will want to talk about things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have nothing to talk
yeah,
about.
we have a big
Wait
talk
until
coming.
next week. Like I'm still fragile.
I know
you have
you
to
are.
wait for the ice to become solid before you want to go skate on it.
Oh yeah.
Is there anything you want to yell at me now? Because I think when the cameras are rolling, it's a lot easier for me to tolerate.
No.
So just pick a few things. Keep the zingers for later. But for now, you could go with whatever you want.
No, thank you.
Are you mad because you've been reading about those hot cowboys and I've left you with pent up
No.
feelings
I'm not
for
reading
the whole
about
week?
hot cowboys anymore.
You stopped?
Yeah. I started another book.
What's that about? Aliens?
No.
Are you back to animals?
No.
You cycle through your weird fetishes.
They're not weird fetishes.
For someone who reads about dragons doing each other and stuff,
I-
you're really sensitive about showing human feet.
Do not do that.
Are you into talons?
No.
You scare me sometimes.
I should.
Your
You should
choices
be
are very,
scared.
very bizarre.
You make people think that I'm like this psychotic,
Who?
crazy
I
animal
do that?
fetish person.
I'm the one who does that? Your choices do that for you.
No,
They don't need my help for that.
that's not true.
You know, I open the...
You know how many people are reading these books that you are
I know.
mocking?
I
Court
wish...
of Thorns and Roses and Fourth Wing and
Yeah.
Onyx Storm. Like, these are the books that, like,
Which is the ones
hundreds
where...
and thousands of people are
Which one
reading.
of those is the one where the ladies like animals? The dragons.
It's a fantasy series.
Was it just animals that like animals?
They're not animals. They're like
Beasts
oh
with
my God.
claws and wolf-like features when they transfigure themselves into beasts and then back to humans? Is that more accurate? People don't like this banana.
Actually, a lot of people like our banana. If you go to our
I think it's a banana.
if you go to our
Or they said
YouTube
at least
settings,
change the angle.
okay, that's fine.
Oh, don't touch like that. Very weird.
If you go to our YouTube settings, like on the
Yeah.
back end, you could see what people are searching for, like our followers.
Okay.
And there's so much stuff about bananas.
They're searching for that hook.
Bananas, banana hooks, banana pranks, banana, all kinds of stuff about bananas.
Why do you people follow us?
I don't know.
Banana fetishes.
I don't
It's
know.
a very weird space
It is.
we live in now.
Yep. All right. So I think that's it for us today.
That's it?
Yeah.
So you just leave? Any final words? You
Um,
want to apologize publicly
For
your
what?
behavior?
no, I
No?
feel very proud of my behavior.
Okay.
I actually think I did a great job this week.
Okay.
You?
No.
You don't want to apologize for your behavior?
No, I don't think I did a great job this week.
Okay.
I was shorter with you,
Mm-hmm.
but I was shorter with everybody because of the way other people were reacting in my world.
Mm-hmm.
I suspect if I behave in a way that's not the way I normally behave, it can impact people in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I'm not being as whatever jovial or pleasant as I normally am, people might take that as me being angry or short or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I'm sort of like, I'm being perfectly polite, I'm being kind, I'm not extending my conversation because I don't feel like extending it.
Mm-hmm.
But is that necessarily something you did wrong? And I don't think it is. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. It matters how you make people feel.
Mm-hmm.
So if you felt a particular way,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm spending 2-3 days being like, I can't deal with that at the same time as dealing with everything else that I'm trying to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think I was like doing anything harmful,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But what it does is it creates a ripple effect. It creates a scenario where you're like, oh, this is unusual. And then you back away and then now you're not there.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that's not helpful for me at all.
Yeah.
That retraction. I'm doing that already.
Yeah.
Right? So like, I don't need more help retracting away from someone.
Right.
I'm already pulling myself away. So the most normal behavior is the most helpful. Like, and I know you feel like you try, right? You're like, oh, I gave you a hug or I gave you a kiss. But it was like, that doesn't end there. It's like, that's tentative, right? It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I knew you weren't in the mood. I checked. Okay, I'm out. I don't need to deal with this.
Mm.
We both do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm aware of it now more than I used to be. And I'm trying to be more cognizant of that and more focused and understanding of how the other people around me are feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, we do it to each other the most.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good thing because it's almost like that's your biggest layer of comfort. So you can kind of like be a jerk with that person. I don't think either of the kids felt it the way that you felt it.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel better because the week's over. I don't know what next week holds, but it was heavy.
The other thing we don't do, which I think is very normal, is communicate in those moments, right? So there's so many things that are just, you're kind of reading between the lines or you're getting information at the last minute as opposed to planning ahead. And I think there was some of that happening this week. And so I do feel like everything just kind of crumbles a little bit or is a little bit harder to understand or harder to feel. When one of the pieces is a little unstable, a few of the pieces get destabilized, and so conversations and communication and all that stuff starts crumbling. Then everybody feels a little bit less than. And for me, in those moments, yeah, you're right. Like you try a little and then you say, oh, they're not ready, or oh, maybe this is not the right time. And when you're not getting what you're used to getting, then you don't want to give the things that you usually give either. And part of me feels like it's not a welcoming environment. And so you're like, okay, let's just give everybody a little bit of space, take a breather, and when we're ready, we'll both come back. And then the other thing I think of is I'll do what I can do in my time here to just hold down the fort, because there are times where you pitch in more and then there are times where I will pitch in more, and it's not frustration at he's not showing up or he's not here. But had I known that you're having a rough time at work, then I would have said to myself, okay, he's having a hard time at work, here's what I can do. And you set your expectations too, and you prepare yourself mentally for what's coming in the next few days. When you set up those expectations, it's easier for, like, as you move through it, you're like, yeah, I told myself this was going to happen. As opposed to saying, if you don't set up your expectations, you look back and you're like, why did that happen? That's so crazy. And you have a different narrative. I think if you're able to work through the narrative ahead of time, it's much easier to go with a little bit more understanding.
Yeah. It's hard when you don't expect it. Like, I didn't have a hard week because I expected to have a hard week. I had a hard week because things just started falling out of place.
Yeah.
In ways that I didn't expect. And then that translates to later nights, and it translates to earlier mornings, and the routine just gets thrown off its bearings. Mm-hmm. We've been through the same thing 1,000 times. Mm-hmm. I like to think we're getting better. Mm-hmm. The change is terribly slow and incremental, but I still think there's change, because I think there are situations in the past where something like this can lead into a whole other host of arguments that both of us are a lot better now at identifying.
Yeah.
Like you can go down a whole tangent if you're me centric of like, oh, look what you've done to me. You know, you're having something and now I had to do this, and then you get upset. And that creates the ripple because the other person who's already having a negative experience now tacks on the, oh, you're now giving me grief because you had to do X. Well, like, you want me to do Y and X? Like, you want me to do all of this and also do that? Like, that's not helpful.
Yeah.
And we've done that for many, many
Yeah.
cycles of being like, no, you don't value this. That was probably one of the biggest things we've overcome.
Yeah.
This like idea of you expect to do certain things and you expect your significant other to be happy.
Yeah.
And then their disappointment or their feeling unhappy, like this example, it's unrelated to the other person, right? It's just life circumstance. And then one person is like, instead of treating it within that vacuum of, okay, what is happening right now that has you feeling a certain way?
Yeah.
You take it completely off and you blow it up into a much bigger thing of like, oh, and the generalizations are the things that I think we do a lot better now of not, sort of doing, but oh, you always do this, you never do that is the number one way to like blow it up in your head and make it a bigger deal.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely days where something happens and then you come home and you're kind of like not yourself, and then you go, you shower, you wake up, and the next day you're fine. And sometimes it's not. In this scenario, I think the reason it sort of lingered was less to do with work and more to do with our relationship or our engagement. And you just talked about it. You're like, okay, I approached. You have nothing to do with this, right? You're like, I approached. I sort of tried to be normal. You weren't interested. I was still sort of giving you space. And then it makes it awkward in a way. Like you need to have a conversation. You need to have a moment to break that. And then when it builds, it just takes longer and longer to get comfortable to do that. And it's not helpful. Like whoever is the quote unquote bigger person in that moment, right, is the one that pushes through. And I was joking before with your period and things like that. But when I know there's something that's troubling you, when I'm at my best, I'm able to push through the scenario where you're rejecting everything I'm doing. And when you're at your best, that's the same you can do. Like, you push through because you know it's nothing to do with you. If the relationship is the reason there's a fight, that doesn't work, right? You have to talk about it. But if someone's down, leaving them alone when they're withdrawing seems very normal, but it's the opposite of what, I don't know about other people. For me, it's the opposite of what I would want. But I know how hard it is when you're like, you're home late. I had to do dinner on my own. I had to deal with the kids. I had to put away all the dishes. Now you're home. You've been sitting on your computer all day. And, I said, how's your day? And you said, fine. I don't want to push past that. Like, I don't need this right now. From my side, I'm sitting there dealing with 18 hours on a laptop with who knows what else is going on. And like, if this wasn't me and you were telling me about a situation you had with your husband and you said, but he's just like you, like I'm a friend of yours and you're so much like my husband, tell me what to do. I would say, don't stop. Like, push through, keep your guard down. Don't let it go up. That's not because you're wrong. It's because you'd be the bigger person in that scenario. And you'd be able to help that partner navigate better and realize that, like, it's not worth it. I'm sorry for how you felt.
I'm sorry you had a hard week.
Yep. Let's go have